What's up, everybody? It's Rez, and today I want to talk about something that I feel a lot of people are going through right now, but nobody really knows how to explain, so I'm gonna get into it. Why does it feel like everybody is friendless now is the title of this video. And I don't mean that in some dramatic, nobody has ever cared about me kind of way. I mean it in a real way, because I remember not even that long ago, around 2019, 2020, I had a pretty solid friend group, a real friend group. We would hang out all the time, go to parties, boats, take random trips, go to EDM festivals, just do cool, dumb shit and just live life. And looking back on it now, it's weird because at that time, I don't think I realized how special that was. I didn't realize that one day, all of that would slowly disappear. Not all at once, and in not some big dramatic falling out, and not even some massive betrayal. It just slowly faded. One person gets into a relationship, one person moves away, has kids, another person starts working crazy hours, another one gets obsessed with money, and one person disappears into their own problems. And before you know it, the group chat is dead, the invites stop happening, and everybody is living completely separate lives. And the weirdest part is, when you try to reconnect with those people, because you meet up with somebody you used to be close with, and on the surface it feels familiar, you laugh at the same jokes, you bring up old memories, you try to convince yourself, yeah, we're still the same. We're still the boys, nothing really changed, but in the end, something did change. And after the interaction is over, you don't always feel fulfilled. Sometimes you feel drained, and sometimes you get in the car and you're like, damn, that did not feel like how it used to. And I don't think it's always because the friendship was fake. I think sometimes you're trying to reconnect with the person, but what you're really trying to reconnect with is a time in your life that simply does not exist anymore. It reminds me of playing old COD games. You load up one of those old games thinking you're about to feel what you felt back then. You're trying to bring back that old energy, the summer nights, crickets outside, the morning doves, the ice cream truck, people laughing outside, being young and feeling like life was still wide open. But then you play the same game now and it's not the same. The map is the same and the guns are the same and the sounds are the same, but you are not the same. And that's the part that hurts, because nostalgia tricks you into thinking you miss the thing, but a lot of the time you miss who you were when you had the thing. Does that make sense? And I think friendships work the same way. You can sit across from an old friend, talk about the same memories, laugh about the same stories, and still feel like there's a giant distance between you. Not physically, but more or less spiritually. Like both of you are trying to play characters from an old season of life that already ended. And I started noticing this more in my mid-20s. I'm 26 now, and I swear it feels like once people get into their mid to late 20s and start heading towards 30 especially, so many of them just don't have friends anymore. They might have a girlfriend or a wife, they might have kids, they might even be coworkers, but actual friends, people they can call, hang out with, confide in, laugh with, just do life with, a lot of people don't have that anymore. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because our generation got sold a huge lie. And the lie was this: lock in, cut everybody off, focus on yourself, get your money up, and disappear for 6 months, come back successful. And on paper, that sounds cool and all, and it sounds disciplined, masculine. It sounds like something you're supposed to do if you want to become better, right? But in reality, I think for a lot of people, it just turns into self-induced isolation. You cut off your friends because you think they're distractions. You stop going out because you think it's a weakness. And you stop answering texts because being unavailable makes you focused and more interesting, right? You tell yourself you're building something, then months go by, then years go by, and maybe the business didn't work. Maybe the side hustle didn't work. You jumped from one idea to the next, dipping your toes into different things, but never fully building anything. Maybe you realized you don't even want that grind life fantasy anymore, and you want a more traditional path, something more realistic for yourself, something stable. And then you look around and realize, damn, I cut off everybody for a version of life and success that I didn't even reach. And now the money isn't there, the dream isn't there anymore, and the friends aren't there either. And that's a hard realization. And I say that because I did it too. I bought into it. I told myself I needed to focus on myself, focus on my family, get money, build wealth, create something bigger. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. There's nothing wrong with ambition. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better. But I think I made the mistake of thinking that in order to improve myself, I had to disconnect from everybody else. And looking back, I don't think that was strength. I really think that was loneliness disguised as discipline. Because real discipline should make your life better. It should make you stronger and healthier, more capable, and more grounded. But if your version of discipline leaves you isolated and bitter, socially disconnected, emotionally numb, then maybe it's really not discipline anymore, and it's just avoidance. The crazy thing is, when you finally try to go back, it's really not fucking easy. You try to step back into old friend groups, but the rhythm is gone. People have new routines, new inside jokes and priorities, and just new lives. And even if nobody says it directly, you can definitely feel it. You're not fully in the circle anymore because you left, and maybe they left too. But everybody kind of leaves in their own ways, seems like. That's what makes it so weird. Sometimes there isn't even a villain. Nobody did anything horribly wrong. Life just pulled everybody in different directions, and everybody was too busy trying to survive, provide, grind, heal, or escape to keep the friendship alive. But I think that's where we need to be honest, because friendship does not maintain itself forever. When you're young, friendship feels almost automatic because life forces you around people. School, work, parties, sports, whatever it is, you're constantly around people, so connection just happens. But as you get older, friendship becomes something you have to intentionally build. And I think a lot of us were never taught that because we were taught how to chase money, chase women, and chase status. We were taught how to chase a better body, and we were taught how to get a better job, better house, and just a better life. But nobody really taught us how to maintain brotherhood and friendship. Nobody told us that having good friends is not childish. And nobody told us that laughing with our boys, going on trips, having people that you can count on, and feeling like you belong somewhere is not a waste of time, because that stuff matters. And honestly, it might matter more than a lot of the things we were chasing, because what's the point of getting money if you have nobody to celebrate with? And what's the point of becoming successful if you have no one who actually knows you and cares to know you? What's the point of becoming locked in if the final result is you sitting alone, scrolling on your phone, and wondering why your life feels so empty? I'm not just saying you should keep bad friends around. That is something I'm totally straying away from. Some people really do need to be cut off because some people are toxic and holding you back. And some people only want to party and use you or keep you stuck as the old version of yourself. But I think we went too far in the other direction. We started acting like every friend was a distraction, every hangout was a setback, and every night out was ruining our future. Every relationship had to be measured by whether or not it made you money. And that is such a soulless way to live, in my opinion, because a friend does not have to make you rich financially to be valuable. A good friend can make you rich emotionally. They can make you feel seen, heard, and kind of remind you of who you are and pull you out of your own head. They can give you memories that you think about 10 years later and realize, damn, that was one of the best times of my life. And that is true, unmeasurable value right there. I think one of the biggest mistakes men make now is thinking they don't need anybody. We act like needing people is weakness, but it's not. Needing the right people is completely human, and having a circle and brothers around you is totally human. And I think a lot of guys are waking up in their late 20s realizing they traded friendship for isolation, and the trade was totally not worth it. Because the grind did not love them back, neither did the money, neither did anything else in society. The self-improvement videos also didn't love them back either. And now they're sitting there with maybe a little more discipline, maybe a little more knowledge, a little more ambition, but a shit ton less connection. And that's not success, but at least not to me. I think real success is being able to build your life without destroying your ability to enjoy it. It's being able to work hard, but still have people around you and not trying to become a ghost. It's being able to grow up without completely killing the part of you that knew how to live and have fun. Because maybe that goal isn't to go back to 2019, because we all know it happened in 2019, right? Maybe that version of life is gone, but maybe the parties, the boats, the festivals, the old group chats, COD nights, maybe all of that stuff belongs to a different chapter. But that does not mean friendship is over. It just means the way we build it has to change. And you may not get the old feeling back exactly how it was, but you can build something new. You can reach out, you can make plans, you can still be the one who invites people and be the one that gets invited. You can stop waiting for the perfect version of friendship to magically come back and start creating a new version of it. Because being alone might be necessary for certain situations, but being alone forever is definitely not a goal. And I think that's the lie a lot of us fell for. We thought isolation was the prize of becoming better, but maybe becoming better also means learning how to stay connected. Because at the end of the day, you can have the money, you can have the body, the house, relationship, career, discipline, all of it. But if you have nobody you can laugh with, nobody you can tell, or who really knows you and remembers where you came from, then something is missing. And I think a lot of people feel that. They just don't know how to say it. So yeah, maybe everybody is not completely friendless, but I do think a lot of people are disconnected in some kind of way. And I think a lot of us are realizing that the old lock in and disappear mindset came with a fucking huge cost. A cost we didn't fully understand until the silence got loud. And maybe now the real flex is not disappearing from everybody. Maybe the real flex is building a life where you don't have to.